After my elder brother marched to the front, the princess, though pregnant, continued sulking over his departure. She deliberately met her favorite lover in the middle of the night, indulging herself, galloping wildly across the hunting grounds. A moment of reckless pleasure led to disaster, she miscarried. When I discovered it, she knelt before me in tears, begging. "Xinyao, this is the only rightful heir of the Jiang family. If your brother learns the truth, he might start a rebellion out of despair. A child can be conceived again, but would you let the world fall into chaos, let innocent people suffer everywhere?" As the legitimate daughter of the Jiang family, I hesitated, then agreed to hide it for her. But I never expected my brother's military campaign to be nothing more than a bandit-clearing mission. He returned triumphant in just a few days. The princess arrived late, threw herself sobbing into his arms. "Jialon," she pushed me. "She killed our child. And she threatened me into silence. Even if I die, I must avenge our baby." My brother exploded in fury. He mounted his horse, tied my wrists and ankles, and dragged me across the camp like a criminal. "You murdered my son. How can a woman be so vicious? If I had known you were this wicked, I should have strangled you at birth so mother could try for a better child." I was so devastated I vomited blood, hatred shook even my soul. But heaven had eyes, and gave me a second chance. I returned 7 years into the past. At this moment, my sister-in-law was still kneeling in the study, being slapped by the princess. And my brother was about to fall into the water and be swept away by the current. This time, I chose madness. I chose not to save him. "Help! Somebody help!" Jiang Jialon's body thrashed in the lake, panic distorting every line of his face. He kicked, clawed, swallowed several mouthfuls of icy water as it rose to his chin. When he saw me, his eyes lit up like a dying man glimpsing his final hope. He reached toward me desperately. "Xinyao! Xinyao! Save me!" I watched calmly as the lake swallowed him inch by inch. Watched the man who once made me kneel in blood now begging for his life. His pale, terrified face filled me with a thrill I could not name. My heart pounded with intoxicating excitement. "Jiang Jialon, this time, I will not save you." 1 hour earlier, I had been reborn. Reborn into this very day 7 years ago. On this day, Jiang Jialon accidentally fell into the water. Back then, I truly believed he was my real brother. I jumped into the freezing lake and saved him, no matter the cost. Only after my death did I learn the truth. He was not my brother. He was the one who destroyed my family. Because I saved him that year, cold poison seeped into my body. Every month thereafter, the pain during my cycles was unbearable. The physician declared I would struggle to conceive, and any future marriage would despise me for it. But before I even had the chance to marry, Jiang Jialon and Tao Yuannan killed me first. Someone fell into the water. "Hurry!" A voice shouted from the shore. Too late. I stood there, watching Jiang Jialon's body sink, slowly, steadily, into the depths. Let him die. His death will only make my revenge easier. The year Jiang Jialon was brought back to the Marquis of Loyal Valor's residence, he had just turned 12. He shared the same birthday and the same birthmark placement as my long-lost elder brother. But my brother had been kidnapped when he was only 4. Naturally, appearance and personality would differ after so many years. So Jiang Jialon logically became the rightful young master of the Jiang family. My father, the Marquis of Loyal Valor, was strict with him but never mistreated him, and my mother cherished him deeply. Since childhood, Jiang Jialon feared water. People said that as a boy, he had drifted along a river for days before being rescued by our servants. Fortune favored him, he became the young master of Jiang House. When he grew older, he rose even higher in status, marrying Tao Yuannan, the princess who was never favored. But Tao Yuannan couldn't bear loneliness. She met her lover in the dead of night, rode wildly across the hunting grounds, and fell from her horse. causing a miscarriage. Unfortunately for her, I saw everything. She cried and begged me not to tell Jiang Jialun. By then, under my father's support, Jiang Jialun had already become a celebrated heir with military achievements. She pleaded. I couldn't protect the child, with your brother's violent temper, he'll never forgive me. Xinyao, this is the only rightful heir of your Jiang family. If your brother learns the truth, he might rebel. A child can be conceived again, but would you let the world fall into chaos? Xinyao, help me just this once. Don't let this household fall apart and worry your aging parents. After thinking it through, I reluctantly agreed. I planned to wait until things calmed down, then let mother reveal the truth gently. But the one who came was not Jiang Jialun. It was the soldiers under his command. They crippled me, tied me to the ground. Jiang Jialun sat on horseback, looking down with icy eyes. As if I were already dead. I didn't understand why he treated me like that. Not until he bound me to his horse's leg and dragged me across the yard. The path I was pulled through became a long trail of blood. Only when he tortured me again inside the military camp did I learn the truth. Tao Yuannan had accused me of killing their child. Jiang Jialun cut out my tongue. I could not even defend myself. After they tortured me to death, they dumped my corpse in the wilderness. When I died, my soul drifted helplessly through the wind, shedding tears of blood. Later, Jiang Jialun poisoned my parents' meals day after day. He repaid kindness with hatred. And personally murdered them. He seized the entire marquisate and sat alone atop power and wealth. No one knew the wolfish ambition and monstrous cruelty hidden beneath his skin. I carried boundless hatred, nowhere to release it. Now reborn, I want to see him die. To savor the thrill of vengeance fulfilled. Jiang Jialun fell into the water. Go call someone. More and more people gathered at the lakeside, but Jiang Jialun did not surface. Only clusters of bubbles rose to the surface. Proof he was still alive underneath. Then, a small figure leapt into the water. Ah! Who jumped? I think, it's that unfavored princess from the cold palace, Yuannan. My fists tightened. Hatred surged into my chest. Tao Yuannan pulled Jiang Jialun up from the water as she thrashed and swam, her small face flushed red from holding her breath. When they dragged them ashore, the academy teacher rushed over to perform first aid. Tao Yuannan curled up, trembling, head lowered. Pitiful, fragile. At this time, she was still just a disregarded minor princess. Her birth mother a lowly entertainer. If not for marrying into the Jiang family in my past life, and being granted a title solely for the sake of marriage, she would never have become the grand princess. Fortunately, right now, she is nothing. Young Master Jiang is awake. Jiang Jialun spat out a mouthful of water and slowly regained consciousness. His delicate face looked pale, his eyes unfocused. When his gaze drifted toward me, a dark shadow flashed within. I immediately rushed over, bursting into tears with trembling fear. Brother. Xinyao was so scared. I didn't dare go into the water. It's all my fault for not saving you, for making you swallow so much filthy water. I was only 10. A little act was enough to fool anyone. Jiang Jialun reached out and gently patted my head. Soon after, he was brought back to the Jiang residence. My father was not only the Marquis of Loyal Valor but also a distinguished general. A man who devoted his life to loyalty, fighting at the borders for many years. Our family had guarded the frontier for generations. It was only in the past 2 years that we had finally returned to the capital. In those 2 years, 2 major events occurred. First, Jiang Jialun was found and brought home. Second, my father surrendered his military command to demonstrate loyalty. As for Tao Yuannan, she was someone the imperial family had long forgotten. The emperor hardly remembered he had such a daughter. Jiang Jialun and I studied at the Imperial Academy. Tao Yuannan was often bullied by the other princes and princesses. At times, her status wasn't even equal to the prince's attendants. In my past life, I willingly befriended her, becoming her only friend. It was because of my presence that she slowly gained the courage to stand straighter in the academy. But now, I no longer wished to help her. I simply watched silently as the princes tormented her. Until the day the academy held its annual Kuju competition. Jiang Jialan and the third prince, Tai Yan, were assigned to the same team. Tai Yan, frail since childhood, placed all hope for victory on Jiang Jialan. Jiang Jialan, I want to win. Don't you dare embarrass me. I curved my lips, changed into a Kuju uniform, and put on a mask to hide my face. Only boys were allowed to compete, the girls could only cheer from the sidelines. So I disguised myself as a boy and entered the match. Since childhood, father had raised me as if I were a son. Football, archery, horseback riding, none of it ever troubled me. But I wasn't there to win. I was there to make Jiang Jialan die. Disguised, I became his opponent. Mother always taught me to hide my abilities and behave like a proper girl. I had always listened. Because of that, in the academy, Jiang Jialan was considered the strongest. Even the princes wanted to defeat him to save face. Unfortunately for him, he ran into me. I seized the ball first. Just as Jiang Jialan lunged at me, I spun lightly and kicked the ball straight into the net. A shadow darkened his eyes. I whistled at him provocatively, smiling under my mask. I deliberately provoked him until he grew reckless, losing control. When he was about to score, I leapt forward, colliding into him at full force. Timing it perfectly, I snatched the ball and sent him crashing backward. His head striking a rock with a sickening crack. Blood flowed instantly. Jiang Jialan. He's bleeding, someone call the physician. People rushed over in panic, surrounding him chaotically. During the confusion, I slipped away, changed clothes, and reappeared among the crowd. Feigning shock, I ran to him and fell to my knees. Brother. How did you get hurt like this? His head throbbed violently, he couldn't think of anything else. Tears trembled on my lashes as I helped him sit up. Let me take you home. If father learns you're injured again, he'll be heartbroken. You fell into the water last time, and now this. You must rest at home. I'll tell the instructor everything. I supported him out of the academy. Tao Yuannan stood off to the side, face tense. She gathered her courage, rushing forward to offer a handkerchief. Young Master Jiang, please use this for your wound. Jiang Jialan's eyes fell on her, dark, cold, a flash of hostility passing through. Thank you for the thought, princess. I don't need it. Then he shoved her aside and let me lead him to the carriage. Father adored this recovered son he had finally found. When word reached him that Jiang Jialan was injured, he rushed over. Hurry and fetch the physician. I stepped forward quickly and tugged at his sleeve, speaking timidly. Father, I already sent Xuanwu to fetch one. He'll be here soon. It's all my fault. I didn't protect brother. Hearing that, father's stern expression softened. Xuanwu was my personal maid. Before sending her out, I had already given her detailed instructions. Everything was ready. The show was about to begin. When the physician arrived, he examined Jiang Jialan's pulse and inspected his wound. After a long sigh, he said, "This condition struck suddenly. If it becomes infected, treatment will be extremely difficult." Father's face changed at once. After finally finding his lost son, he could not accept losing him again. Mother burst into tears beside him. The physician had arrived late. The courtyard was already full of servants sent by court officials, all wanting to probe the condition of the Marquisite's young heir. Father's voice grew harsh. What exactly do you mean by that? The physician bowed his head slowly. There is a cure, but it requires a drop of blood from a direct blood relative, mixed into the medicine. Only the general's blood can save him. Father let out a relieved breath. He drew the dagger from his belt and prepared to cut his fingertip. What difficulty is that? Of course I will save him, only I can. Just then, I reached out and stopped him. Jiang Jialan's eyelids twitched. He lifted his gaze toward us. I ignored his gaze and spoke softly. Father, brother's injury is so severe, mixing ordinary blood into the medicine may worsen it. He was lost for many years before returning to our family. Even if he is a Jiang, we should be cautious, to prevent infection. I fabricated nonsense and discreetly signaled the physician. The physician understood immediately. He nodded vigorously. Indeed. It would be safer for the general and the young master to perform another blood matching test. Only then can I prescribe the medicine with confidence. There was no such thing as mixing familial blood into herbs. I had simply ordered Xuanwu to bribe and threaten the physician beforehand. The moment blood matching was mentioned, Jiang Jialan panicked. His face changed instantly, instinctively resisting. Father, I don't want to trouble you. There's no need for a blood test. Physician, just prescribe the medicine. I gave him a gentle smile. Brother, don't be afraid. It's just a tiny prick. It won't hurt. Right then, Xuanwu brought over a bowl of water and set it before him. Father pricked his fingertip and let a drop of blood fall into the bowl, then looked toward Jiang Jialan. All eyes focused on him. Jiang Jialan was riding a tiger, no way down now. The real show was about to begin. Cold sweat broke across his forehead. He bit down hard on his lip. Every gaze in the room was locked on him. Outside, the courtyard was filled with visitors, court officials, servants bringing gifts, countless eyes watching. Father. I feel dizzy. Truly unwell. Jiang Jialan looked straight into father's eyes, feigning sincerity. I don't want to trouble you further. There's no need to use blood as a guide. Physician, please just write the prescription. I am a Jiang man, I can recover without such things. Father's brows drew together. What nonsense. If blood can help you heal better, I will do it. This is nothing. He grabbed Jiang Jialan's wrist and pricked his fingertip. A drop of blood formed and fell into the bowl. The room fell silent. Everyone stared at the bowl. At the 2 drops of blood slowly dissolving. Yet refusing to merge. I gasped loudly, my voice breaking with shock. This. How can this be? You're not my brother. Father's face drained of color. He stared at Jiang Jialan in disbelief. With a sweep of his sleeve, he smashed the porcelain bowl to the floor. His voice trembled as he questioned. You are not my son. Xuanwu quietly closed the windows and door. Jiang Jialan's legs gave out. He fell to his knees. Father, no, impossible. Something's wrong with the water. If I weren't your son, why did the blood test a year ago match? A year ago, when Jiang Jialan first came to the Jiang family. Father had indeed performed a blood match test, just to be safe. Only after my death did I learn. Jiang Jialan had drugged the water beforehand, making the blood appear to mix. Seeing father's hesitation now, Jiang Jialan hurriedly feigned illness. He clutched his head, face contorted in pain, and wailed. Father, my head hurts. Do you still not believe me? Birth date can be forged, but the birthmark's location. Would that be wrong too? If you don't trust me, I will leave Jiang House and wander the streets again. Mother broke immediately. Eyes red with tears, she ran forward and threw her arms around him. She had searched for her lost son for 10 years. She didn't dare question it. She couldn't bear to. Enough. He is Jialan. He is my child. I know what my son looks like, how could I not? Mother's denial was understandable. It would take time for her to accept reality. If one blood test failed, then do it twice. If twice failed, then 3 times. Repeated enough times, even the most stubborn heart would begin to doubt. Father allowed the physician to prescribe medicine, and to quell any suspicion from onlookers, he still publicly let his fingertip blood be mixed into the remedy. But I knew Father, he could not tolerate even a grain of sand in his eye. He had already begun to doubt Jiang Jialan's identity. For days, Jiang Jialan remained in his room recuperating, rarely appearing outside. When he finally recovered, I deliberately instructed Xuanwu to have the kitchen prepare a special medicinal porridge for him. Medicinal food was harmless enough, anyone could eat it without worry. Just as I ordered, the kitchen cooked a lightly bitter porridge enhanced with herbs to strengthen the spleen and nourish the body. I ladled a bowl each for Father and Mother first, placing them gently before them. Then I filled a bowl for Jiang Jialan. Smiling sweetly, I said with concern, "Brother, your body hasn't fully recovered. You need more nourishment." Suspicion flickered in his eyes as he accepted the bowl. He stirred it with his spoon repeatedly, extremely cautious. Unable even to taste a single sip. Only when he saw Father, Mother, and me eating with no issues. Did he finally drink the porridge? I asked softly. "How does it taste, brother?" Jiang Jialan showed no abnormal reaction. He smiled faintly. "It tastes very good. You've put in effort for me." Seeing us getting along, Father and Mother exchanged relieved smiles. They didn't notice anything unusual. Unaware that I had added dangshan into his bowl. Dangshan was a tonic herb. But my real brother had been sensitive to it since childhood. If he ingested even a small amount, his body would react. Rash breaking out over his skin at best. Tightened breathing and rapid heartbeat at worst. Father and Mother knew this well. That was why they had always been careful with his medicines when he was young. But Jiang Jialan had no idea his identity had just been exposed. Until Xuanwu suddenly rushed in, breathless, face pale. "Don't drink it." Panicked, she said. The new cook didn't know the rules, he added dangshan. Young master is allergic to dangshan. Clang. The spoon slipped from Jiang Jialan's hand, striking the bowl with a harsh metallic ring. He stared at me, stunned. A flicker of terror flashing through his eyes. I suppressed the smile rising in my chest, feeling joy bloom quietly inside. Outwardly, I slammed the table, fury trembling in my voice. "How dare you be so careless? Bringing food he can't eat, are you trying to kill my brother?" After scolding them theatrically, I rushed anxiously toward Jiang Jialan. "Brother, are you all right?" I studied him carefully. His complexion was rosy. Skin smooth and pale. No rash. No breathing issues. Not even a hint of discomfort. "Brother, the physician said your condition was congenital and incurable. How is it suddenly gone?" Jiang Jialan's expression shifted, guilt flashing through his gaze. He looked instinctively toward Father. Father's face had already darkened to a terrifying shade. His chopsticks landing on the table with a cold clatter. He had made up his mind. He no longer trusted him. "Jialan," Father said, voice icy. "What is the meaning of this?" My lips curled slightly. I knew Father's faith in him was gone. Jiang Jialan's hands tightened. His tongue stumbled over his own words as panic overtook him. "When I was 8, it rained heavily. I had nowhere to go. I nearly died of illness in a ruined temple. But I met a wandering physician. He saved me and altered my constitution." I cast him a cold glance. Disgust rippled through me. He was clever. Inventing a story that tugged at Mother's heart. He was striking exactly where she was weakest. Mother, unable to bear the thought of a lost child suffering outside, reached out and stroked his head gently. "You poor thing, you went through so much." Jiang Jialan's eyes reddened, voice trembling pitifully. Mother, now that I'm home, I no longer feel the hardship. It's just, over the years, I've grown distant from my sister. We're not as close as before. He was hinting at me, reminding Mother to keep her guard up against me. But he didn't realize something crucial. Mother loved her son. But she loved her daughter even more. Mother withdrew her hand, expression cooling. Your sister may be mischievous, but she is not a bad person. Jialan, you must not grow apart from her. If you continue like this, I will not tolerate it. Jiang Jialan bowed his head obediently, continuing to act the part of a loving brother. Afterward, when I returned to my room, a shadow flashed past. A hand clamped around my throat, slamming me against the wall. The strength behind it was overwhelming, he nearly crushed my windpipe. Jiang Xinyao, you keep going against me. Stop dreaming that you can challenge me. He deliberately lowered his voice, cold and threatening. Even with his face covered, I knew exactly who he was. I kicked wildly, trying to break free, but I was still too young. My strength no match for Jiang Jialan. If you refuse to behave, killing you will bring peace to this household. His fingers tightened. Air thinned around me. A low sound escaped my throat. When a person approaches death, every sense becomes painfully sharp. Footsteps sounded nearby, my last hope. I kicked out with all my might and smashed a vase on the windowsill. Crash. The crisp sound made the footsteps stop. Moments later came a knock on the door. Young miss, are you inside? Jiang Jialan's grip tightened to the point I couldn't breathe or speak. I slammed the back of my head against the wall, hard, trying to make a noise. Hearing someone about to push the door open, Jiang Jialan cursed, hurled me to the ground, and leapt out the window. When the guard entered, I lay sprawled on the floor, coughing violently. A bright red handprint on my neck. An assassin. There was an assassin. Tears stung my eyes. A plan formed instantly. I dragged my weak body to my father. When he saw me like that, fear and fury surged across his face. Xinyao, who hurt you? I rasped. It was brother. Jiang Jialan. I collapsed at his feet and told him everything. Father, he can't be my brother. My real brother is dangerously allergic to dangshan. If he ingests even a small amount, not even the gods can save him. How could his constitution change so completely? Father, please investigate my real brother's whereabouts. I was too young to search effectively. But father was different. He had the Jiang army. Even if my brother were a needle lost in the sea, father could find him. He lifted me gently, promising. Father will find him. And so, he dispatched his men to search for the real heir. For the first time, I felt at ease. My repeated hints these past few days had finally planted doubt in father's mind. Once my brother was found, Jiang Jialan's identity would be exposed. Back at the academy, Jiang Jialan's attitude toward Tao Yuannan shifted. He approached her first, offering thanks. I heard the princess saved me. I am deeply grateful. This sachet has been with me since childhood. I hope you will accept it. Tao Yuannan blushed as she took it. We are all students here. There's no need for formality. From that day on, they were inseparable. Everywhere I looked, they walked side by side. Seeing them together raised suspicion in my heart. Tao Yuannan, looked down upon because her birth mother was a singer. Jiang Jialan, obsessed with status. In the past, he wouldn't spare her a single glance. Yet now he clung to her constantly. Soon, rumors spread. Princess Yuannan and young Master Jiang are far too close, like a shadow and its owner. She may be a princess, but no one acknowledges her status. Jiang Jialan getting close to her is lowering himself. So what? She's still a princess. Better than nothing. That remark struck me. Once Jiang Jialan's identity was exposed, he would be cast out of the Jiang household. He was approaching Tao Yuannan intentionally. Using her. A month had already passed. If I wanted to stop them, time was running out. Unless we found my brother immediately and eliminated Jiang Jialan first. The moment the academy dismissed us, I rushed home. But danger struck on the road. A man from the martial world blocked my path, saying someone had paid for my life. Fear surged through me. I drew my dagger instantly. This ambush was no accident. Only one person wanted me dead. Jiang Jialan. These killers were no ordinary thugs. I couldn't fight them head-on. Fortunately, my small frame made escaping easier. I darted away, sprinting through the trees. Just then, a caravan from a security escort bureau passed by. I leapt up, curled myself under the wagon, and hid beneath the carriage. A steady voice rang out. A whole group of adults chasing a child. Have you no shame? Master, should we beat them up? He scoffed coldly. Beat what? Use your brains. When their carriage left, I heard their whispers. That's Xiao Lingji of the Dragon Phoenix Courier Bureau. You fools can't afford to offend him. But where did the child go? Damn it. We just looked away for a moment and she vanished under our noses. Halfway down the road, the carriage suddenly stopped. A heavy hoofstep thudded beside me. Kid, how long are you planning to hide? My face flushed. So he had discovered me long ago. I crawled out from under the carriage, dusting off my clothes. I'm not a child. Thank you for saving me today. He wore a silver mask, his face was impossible to see. I didn't care, I needed to return quickly and inform Father. When I arrived at the residence, I ran straight into Father, adjusting his robes as though preparing to leave. I blocked his path. Father, where are you going? His movements were hurried and tense. I sensed it had something to do with my brother. Father, is there news about brother? Before he could answer, the steward rushed toward us. My lord, someone from the palace has arrived. Eunuch Tao brings an imperial decree. My stomach sank. Everyone in the Marquis of Loyal Valor's residence knelt to receive the decree. Eunuch Tao read aloud in his sharp voice. By heaven's mandate, the Emperor declares. Jiang Jialan, son of the Marquis of Loyal Valor, is gifted in both talent and virtue. His brilliance delights us and the Empress Dowager. Princess Yuannan has reached marrying age, and the two may be said to be a pair destined by heaven. To complete this auspicious union, we decree the two shall be betrothed as husband and wife. When Jiang Jialan comes of age next spring, Princess Yuannan shall marry into the Jiang residence. The emperor himself had granted the marriage. The same marriage as in my past life. Only 1 year remained before Jiang Jialan reached adulthood. When spring came, Tao Yuannan would be granted the title of Grand Princess and marry into the Jiang family. All events would fall back into the same irreversible pattern as before. Father knew Jiang Jialan's identity was fake. But rejecting the decree would be treason. And if anyone discovered that Jiang Jialan was an impostor, Father would face charges of deceiving the throne, punishable by extermination of 9 generations. Even if Father doubted him, he could not expose him now. Father signaled with his eyes. Jiang Jialan stepped forward and accepted the decree. Jiang Jialan of the Marquis of Loyal Valor humbly accepts the imperial grace. Tao Yuannan, though scorned by everyone, was still a princess. With her backing him, Jiang Jialan's position in the Jiang family would only grow more secure. A chill coiled in my heart. I had still arrived 1 step too late. If they truly married, what difference would there be from my previous life? If I wanted to overturn fate, I needed to set up a grand trap from which they would never rise again. My vengeance was not yet paid. This life, I would not rest. At the Imperial Academy, Jiang Jialan watched over Tao Yuannan carefully, not daring to neglect her. He knew all his current honor came from her. But I knew the future emperor would be the third prince, Ta Yen. Ta Yen admired strength. He recruited powerful talent to serve him. Anyone strong enough always had a place by his side. My status as the legitimate daughter of the Marquis of Loyal Valor alone would never be enough to make him help me fight a princess. So I studied tirelessly, no longer hiding my abilities. Every competition, every activity the academy held, I took first place. I became Jiang Jialan's strongest opponent. This drew Ta Yan's attention. Soon we were studying side by side. Months passed. Winter descended on the capital with the first heavy snowfall. And during that storm, I saved someone. Wen Jing. The man Tao Yuannan had adored in my past life. This time, I met him first. Right before he was sold into a brothel, I spent a large sum of money to buy him back. He climbed into my carriage stiffly, cautious and trembling. Thank you for saving my life, my lady. I looked at his cold, elegant face. His features were striking, deep brows, refined eyes, thin pale lips. He was still young, his face yet to fully mature. But even now he was breathtaking. In my previous life, he truly lived up to the title of the most beautiful man in the capital. I smiled lightly. I saved you. One day, you'll be of great use to me. I hid Wen Jing in a private villa, letting him rest and recover. But unexpectedly, Jiang Jialan discovered everything. He dragged my parents and the entire Jiang household to the villa to seize Wen Jing and me. His presence was overwhelming, his gaze filled with displeasure. Xinyao, you're far too young. How can you be fooling around alone with a man? When Jing's injuries hadn't healed, he leaned weakly against the bed, long hair covering half his face, coughing softly. Mother, look at her. So young, yet already hiding a courtesan in a golden house. If outsiders learn of this, where will our family's face go? I clenched my fists, staring coldly at Jiang Jialan. But I feared Mother would misunderstand and be disappointed in me. So I hurriedly explained. Mother. I saved him. He was pitiful, so I let him stay here to recover. Jiang Jialan let out a cold laugh. There are plenty of pitiful commoners in the capital. Why must you insist on bringing him back? I hear his beauty is breathtaking. My heart chilled. But to my surprise, Father burst out laughing. Good. As expected of my daughter. Better to bring men home than be married off like livestock. No daughter of mine will ever be sent away. In the future, I will choose a husband to marry into our house. As many as you want. Jiang Jialan's expression shifted drastically. He stared at Father in disbelief, then turned toward Mother. Mother smiled with great satisfaction. Xinyao is still young. Understanding these matters a few years earlier only means she can enjoy life more. Experience enough, and she won't suffer for love. The corner of Jiang Jialan's mouth twitched violently as he stared at me, utterly speechless. I curled my lips into a mocking smile. That's right. Unlike you, brother. Already shackled by marriage before you've even enjoyed life. He choked, unable to speak for half a day. Father clapped him on the shoulder. As a child of the Jiang family, your thinking must keep up with the times. Yes. Only when the farce ended did I quietly breathe a sigh of relief. Thankfully, my parents spoiled me, and with Father's support, Mother didn't press further. Once when Jing recovered, I brought him into the palace as a guard. I bribed the eunuchs, easily placing him at Tao Yuannan's side. Just as in my past life. The moment she saw him, she fell in love. Tao Yuannan had been caged in rigid rules since childhood. Outwardly timid and shy. But deep down she yearned desperately for even one moment of freedom. I stayed by Ta Yen as his study attendant. His reputation was rising sharply, the emperor favored him more each day. During the New Year celebrations, when Jing sent word from inside the palace, his relationship with Tao Yuannan had progressed. She adored his beauty and kept him close constantly. By the second month after the New Year, rumors spread outside the palace. In the past, her betrothal ceremony with Jiang Jialan had already caused a stir. Now, word of her affair with her guard spread again, turning into one of the capital's biggest scandals. Princess Yuannan's mother was a performer who seduced the emperor. Now the daughter follows in her footsteps, disgracing herself with a mere guard. She's betrothed to Jiang Jialan. Does she not care for the marquis's face? Not even for Jiang Jialan's. Who would marry such a woman? Even if she's a princess, so what? No one with dignity would. Tao Yuannan's name rotted across the entire capital. People cursed her shamelessness, saying she disgraced not only the Jiang family, but the imperial bloodline itself. Yet none of these rumors entered the palace. When father heard them, his face turned green with rage. Right then and there, he scolded Jiang Jialan mercilessly. You can't even keep your woman in line. She dallies with a guard right under your nose. Don't you feel shame? Do you know what outsiders say about you? About the Marquis of Loyal Valor. They call you useless, Jiang Jialan. Even if Tao Yuannan fools around, you must still marry her without complaint. Jiang Jialan's eyes darkened. He swallowed his anger in silence. Ever since father began doubting his identity, his attitude toward Jiang Jialan had only grown colder. This was the first time father pointed at Jiang Jialan's nose and scolded him outright. I felt utterly exhilarated. If he wanted to remain in the Jiang family, then I would make sure he stayed here in humiliation. But Jiang Jialan would never give up on Tao Yuannan. If he suggested breaking the engagement, the Jiang family would abandon him immediately. So he had no choice but to endure. Even if grass grew thick over his head, he would still have to endure. The only thing that comforted him was that the emperor didn't know about this incident yet. But that faint relief quickly turned into despair. At the end of the third month, the emperor personally held a grand banquet in the palace to admire the blooming magnolias. I accompanied father into the palace. It was a splendid event. Court officials and their wives attended alongside the palace concubines. Jiang Jialan sat behind the princes, while I sat with the noblewomen. The banquet began peacefully, until Taiyan raised a cup to Tao Yuannan. Yuannan, your refined passions in the palace have even taken me by surprise. I didn't expect you to live such a colorful life behind the scenes. Excellent. Truly excellent. The moment his words fell, the entire hall fell silent. Tao Yuannan's face drained of color. Her pupils shrank, she grabbed her cup with trembling hands. They're lies. Brother Emperor, don't believe them. But the rumors had already spread across the realm. Everyone knew she was engaged. Yet she had been intimate with a palace guard. The only one ignorant of everything was the emperor. Taiyan smiled faintly, mischief glinting in his eyes. Sweat broke across the foreheads of everyone present. Just when people thought the matter would be brushed aside, the emperor's interest was suddenly piqued. He raised an eyebrow. What matter is so impressive that even Yan admires it? Silence crashed over the hall. No one dared speak. Taiyan simply smiled and looked toward the emperor's attendant, Eunuch Tao. Eunuch Tao wiped his sweat nervously, shuffled forward, and whispered into the emperor's ear. The emperor's smile vanished instantly. His expression remained calm. But the atmosphere dropped sharply, suffocating. With a flick of his hand, he slammed his wine cup down. Impudent. Everyone immediately dropped to their knees. No one dared lift their head. Tao Yuannan trembled violently, tears spilling as she knelt. Tao Yuannan. Your audacity knows no bounds. The emperor rose, fury radiating from him. You have disgraced the imperial family. You are unworthy to be called one of us. I curled my lips slightly and glanced at Taiyan. He sat leisurely, smiling as though watching a play. Exactly as planned. I had asked him to provoke the topic. I thought it would take effort to convince him. But he found the idea amusing and agreed instantly. Tao Yuannan's legs shook as she crawled forward. Father. I didn't know. Someone must be slandering me, someone who wants me to suffer. The emperor let out a cold laugh. You expect me to believe that? Who in this realm would dare fabricate such accusations about a member of the imperial family? Unless you truly were with that guard. He slammed his palm down. Bring the palace guard here. I will interrogate him myself. When Wenjing was dragged in, his beauty stunned the entire hall. His face was so striking that even amidst the finest beauties of the harem, he would have been unmatched. And he was a man. Tao Yuannan glared at him with vicious eyes, clearly warning him. But Wenjing suddenly burst into tears. He collapsed to his knees, crying out hoarsely. Your Majesty, this servant was merely performing his duties in the princess's quarters. But the princess forced this servant to attend to her day and night. This servant, low-born and humble, tried to refuse her countless times. But the princess said she didn't care, and imprisoned this servant. This servant could not see your Majesty and had nowhere to cry for justice. But even a lowly life still has iron bones. His eyes reddened, his posture one of tragic defiance. As if truly a victim of Tao Yuannan's coercion. I held back a laugh. His acting was too good to be wasted in a brothel. I had saved him. And sent him into the palace precisely so he would seduce Tao Yuannan into sin. In my past life, Tao Yuannan could not restrain her heart or her body. And in this life, she still could not restrain herself. Calling it an affair was too simple. Calling it coercion was far more interesting. The court officials could no longer hold back, whispers broke out everywhere. Princess Yuannan is truly ruthless. No wonder the third prince said even he feels ashamed in comparison. How could such a woman exist in this world? A princess should be a model for all women, not someone who already has a fiancé but still tries to force a guard to sleep with her. Jiang Jialan's face was drained of all dignity. He remained silent, fists clenched tight the entire time. After such a scandal caused by Tao Yuannan, even the last shred of his manly pride was gone. Tao Yuannan never expected Wenjing to expose everything so thoroughly. Tears streamed down her face as she cried. Father, that is not the truth. I've been framed. Please, Father, spare me, someone must be plotting against me. Rumors are spreading all over the palace and outside. Someone is trying to destroy me. The emperor's expression darkened with fury. He curled his lips coldly and ordered. Throw that lowly servant into the dungeon. Behead him in 3 days. At once, I looked toward Taiyan. Taiyan straightened his back and stepped forward. Father, allow me to personally handle the execution. The emperor nodded in approval. I let out a quiet breath. All those games of chess I played with Taiyan, and the promise to use my mind for him all my life, had not been in vain. I had promised Wenjing that I would protect his life at all costs. Then the emperor turned to Tao Yuannan, voice filled with ice. Tao Yuannan acted without virtue, shamed the royal family. Her title is stripped. After death she shall not enter the imperial mausoleum. From this day forward, she is no longer part of the royal lineage. Tao Yuannan collapsed in tears, looking at the emperor with utter despair. Father. I am still your child. I have a marriage pact with Jiang Jialan of the Marquis of Loyal Valor. I don't want to leave you. The emperor himself had granted the match between her and Jiang Jialan. The engagement was still valid. So would this marriage continue, or not? Father glanced at Jiang Jialan, silently signaling him to stand up and propose canceling the engagement. But Jiang Jialan remained still. He knew perfectly well that the engagement could not be broken, even if Tao Yuannan had fallen to such disgrace. The emperor let out a cold laugh. The engagement is annulled. Crash. Jiang Jialan's hand trembled. Hot tea spilled all over it. He looked up in panic, eyes slowly filling with despair. The emperor strode away from the banquet without another word. I smiled, utterly satisfied. My heart felt light. The engagement was gone. I wanted to see what else could possibly protect Jiang Jialan now. Father drained his wine, his gaze sharp as a blade aimed directly at Jiang Jialan. Then he laughed, rose, and left. When the banquet finally ended, Tao Yuannan was still kneeling on the floor, refusing to rise, until eunuchs forcibly dragged her out. When Jing was taken away by Ta Yan's guards, Ta Yan would let him fake his death, grant him a new identity, and return his freedom. Back at the residence, Father had already ordered servants to pack Jiang Jialan's belongings. You may share the same birthday as my son, but you are not my son. A birthmark can be forged, but physical constitution cannot be falsified. The changes in body structure at that age are impossible to replicate. Besides, back then, you were only 8. He paused, then continued. And more importantly, I have already found my real son. Jiang Jialan's face turned ashen. He fell to his knees, eyes bloodshot as he pleaded. Father, how could I not be your real son? Someone must be misleading you. I am Jiang Jialan, why won't anyone believe me? Father held up the longevity lock. Do you have this? The lock had been specially crafted, engraved with my brother's exact birth date. Years ago, Jiang Jialan claimed it was stolen while he drifted alone. His lips trembled. He couldn't answer. Father's voice sharpened. But he does. At those words, the doors opened, and a tall, refined-looking young man stepped inside. He carried himself with calm dignity, a sword at his waist, dressed entirely in black. With a cold gaze, he glanced at Jiang Jialan, who was kneeling on the ground. His brows and eyes resembled Father's by 7 or 8 parts, and his bearing was nearly identical. He bowed slightly and clasped his fists. I am Xiao Lingji, heir of the Dragon Phoenix Courier Bureau. Jiang Jialan's breath hitched. All strength left his body, he slumped helplessly on the floor, eyes turning vacant. I looked at Xiao Lingji's familiar features, and a surge of emotion rose in my chest. My wish had come true. My brother had finally been found. Our family could be whole again. Father spoke coldly. For the sake of the years you lived with us, I will not kill you today. From now on, live honestly. Stop pretending to be someone you are not. But Jiang Jialan had tasted wealth and luxury. He could no longer bear the thought of hardship. His despairing eyes turned to me. He trembled, pleading. Xinyao, little sister, save me. I will repay you. I swear it. I lifted the corner of my lips, gaze falling upon him. Letting him leave alive. How could it ever be that simple? My desire to kill him had never diminished. Not even for a breath. I hid the killing intent and handed him a money pouch. Brother, live well from now on. I'll visit you. He didn't know the pouch carried venomous tracking insects. Wherever he went, I would find him. Find him. And kill him. Tears welled in my eyes as I watched him leave. Even Mother didn't see through me. She only praised my kind heart. Jiang Jialan knew he could not remain in the Jiang household. He took the money and walked away in tears. On the 3rd day after he left, I found him. When he saw me, he froze. Hope filled his desperate eyes. Xinyao, you've come to bring me home. Did Father send you? My hand tightened around the sword hilt. I raised it. Facing Jiang Jialan, I couldn't stop myself from laughing. Home. Are you naive or simply stupid? No. I'm here to kill you. His expression changed instantly. Caution flashed in his eyes. I thrust forward, narrowing my gaze. Let's finish this quickly. I still have to hurry home for a family dinner. Without scum like you, the air is so much cleaner. Jiang Jialan was never a match for me. He learned martial arts late. I had trained since childhood. A few exchanges passed. He was already exhausted. I spun and drove my sword cleanly through his heart. As I pulled the blade out, blood splattered across my face. Disgusting. He spat blood, staring at me in disbelief. Jiang Xinyo. I smiled. Checkmate. This was always a dead game for you. He had murdered my parents. Tortured me to death. Dying like this was far too merciful for him. He collapsed, barely able to stay upright. In that moment, he finally understood everything. That every step leading to his ruin had been orchestrated by me. He clenched his teeth, choking out. It was you. It was always you. You planned. I turned and sliced his throat. He fell to the ground, eyes frozen wide, staring at me until they slowly dimmed. I never looked back. In this life, there was no path of return for me. When I turned 17, Taiyan ascended the throne. And I became the youngest female instructor in the Imperial Academy's first cohort. The first woman to ever teach there. Changing the fate of women across the realm. Books were no longer the privilege of royalty. All people could study. Women could study. And this peaceful era of learning was not my achievement alone. My brother, Xiao Lingji, guarded the borders, keeping the nation safe so the people could live in stability. In the cold palace, a madwoman remained. Tao Yuan Nan. After everything, she had lost her mind completely. She deserved every part of her downfall. Now, the world is unified, the people live in peace. And this is the best era we have ever had. The end.